Hello everyone, here is the first game in this video, and if I'm not mistaken it's round number 3 in the tournament. I'm playing black. As you can see, I'm trying to play Chigurins defense, but to be honest it's the first time because I didn't play chess, kinda serious chess, quite long time, and all my theory knowledge is super old and I have no idea what to play, so I'm just trying to use some different openings. As you see, white is conquering the center, but I'm trying to develop pieces more actively. I like the dance on the background of the board. Both of opponents are dancing under the table. So I'm developing my pieces. It's quite solid game, I think, for black, and so comfortable. White trying to attack the queen side. I'm not caring about the queen side because it looks quite okay for me. I'm trying to make some activity on the king side, but it's also not so easy because I have no idea what to get. White is exchanging pair of pawns. My rook is putting pressure on the a pawn, but white rook is also looking at my b pawn. I'm trying to save my king by opening h7 square. Rook is carefully going backward, and yeah, white has much more space. They are more active, but it's not so easy to attack my position. So here I decided to exchange bishop to the knight. White rooks and white queens are putting pressure on my pawns, but how to open files, that's not such clear solution here for white. So I'm just making solid moves without any serious ideas, trying to improve pieces. Of course, rook c8 cannot be improving of the piece, it just was move for protecting everything. And now a file is under white pieces, but I conquered the b file. Actually, the plan to exchange couple of rooks. Here white made a mistake, they're moving queen to c6, queen was staying on c2 and protecting pawn in the center, so I captured it. I think white had a hope that they can capture my knight on g6 and make a double pawns, but they didn't notice an intermediate move. Here I have the extra pawn, and also another pawn is coming, pawn on d5, because I have a lot of protectors. Here an intermediate check, exchanging knight to the bishop. Again I'm hanging on the time as usual, so pity that cannot see timer. And here is a mistake, I have to exchange knight to the bishop. It would be simple to win with the bishop and two pawns versus knight, but I gave a lot of chances to the opponent and saved and knight and bishop, and gave huge hope to exchange knights and after play with opposite colored bishops. But already both of players has not enough time for thinking. Here also c4 was much better, and my pawn's going closer to the first rank. But if I remember correctly, both of us have about 5 seconds. But want to remind you that we are playing 5 plus 2, so we have to play fast. And here I decide to go around with my king, go through the queen side, because simply king side is blocked, so I have to do something. I wasn't worrying about losing one of the pawn. Actually, I think once during this long game white could capture it, but the idea was that I can run inside with my king. White doesn't want, and as you can see they even put bishop to the black square. I didn't notice and opponent didn't notice because we don't have time. So I'm running to the king side and attacking white pawns. Black king is trying to attack my pawns. Of course, they can be protected with the bishop. To be honest, it should be a draw, but a lot of strange moves by both of us didn't get any results. But I got more time because playing so fast, and once I got about 20 plus seconds for thinking a bit. Here I already got the idea to sacrifice one of my pawns, just making few more moves for getting more seconds and calculating a bit deeply. And here just few more moves, forcing white pieces go to the places which I need, and after I'm sacrificing a pawn. So black king is staying closer to the pawn, blocking white king, and white must to protect squares. But how to protect? If they're protecting with the bishop, my pawn will stay on the same place, protected with my bishop, and I can capture pawns on the king side. So bishop is blocking the pawn, but my king is going to the king side, and king simply capture the h pawn. I have one more passed pawn. Yeah, white can capture the d pawn, but there is no way to stop my h pawn, and opponent give up because I will get a queen quite soon. That's my game versus CM from Ethiopia. I'm playing white and I'm trying to play like Catalan, knight f3, c4, g3, you know the plan. We are developing bishop on the long diagonal, saving the king and trying to fight in the center. Black took my pawn on c4, and actually during the game I had a lot of happy feelings because I love to control the center, especially in this opening. So rook b8, I'm pushing the center, forcing black knight go to the side of the board, going queen a4, attacking the knight and putting pressure on the c pawn. After b6, knight is protected, but I thought it's actually quite nice for me because my d file now is empty, I can conquer it with my rook. After bishop d7, of course, I must move back with my queen, and I didn't have feeling that right now black actually has a compensation as two bishops, putting pressure on the queen side, and they can continue to push their pawns, especially they have 4 pawns versus 2. So bishop g5 was a mistake, and unfortunately I didn't capture f6 with next pushing e5 going through f4. It's another mistake because the bishop has totally nothing to do, and with b5 from black they're conquering the initiative. The next mistake, rook c1, and after b4 I have to do something with my knight. I didn't want to go back because it would be simply passive and have no idea what to do after, so I prefer capture pawn on e6, at least make d5 empty for my knight, and after bishop takes it, I'm jumping to the center. I failed, of course I knew that it's worse for me, but I need to do something, and at least I tried to open diagonals for my bishops. Now I'm attacking bishop on e6, but I didn't think that after bishop f5 I could attack knight at a5 because it's underprotected. So going to e2 it's a mistake because black could put both of their bishop to the perfect position, and after knight e5 going under the pin, it's totally wrong move. So here I'm losing my knight, losing a piece, losing a pawn, and also you can see timer, but I'm simply under time pressure. My time is just burning. So black has everything: time, material, they conquering e-file, but still I didn't want to give up. I feel that I can try to do something, but the problem is that I don't have so many useful moves. Doing h3, making the empty space for my king, going queen d4, trying to eat a7 pawn, but it's perfectly blocked by rook, hiding my king, and only one nice thing that after rook e2, rook goes to the second rank, I can attack it with my bishop, because surprisingly the rook cannot go anywhere in the second rank, so rook must go back. But for me, also not so many good moves. So rook's almost tight, there is no useful moves from my rooks, I just moving bishop back and waiting what black will do. Actually, black has a lot of plans, a lot of ideas. I just sitting and waiting what they will do. I try to make some simple ping, but of course it's not working. Here I'm pushing even f4, trying to attack something. For for you understanding what happens, I have about 10 seconds already, like last 10 moves, and each move you can see I'm trying to make as soon as possible. Here is the key moment. I'm pushing my pawn to d6, sacrificing it, but opening diagonal to my bishop. My queen is going inside to the queen side, making a lot of threats, and black gave me a knight. That's wonderful. That's everything what I dreamed that time. Also, I took pawn on d4. As a result, I'm getting past a pawn, but during the game I didn't think about this. Again, I'm flagging. And problem that I've tried to exchange my queens. I actually offered the exchange and made a mistake. I'm also trying to exchange bishops, but unfortunately black had a nice protection. Here I'm offering a draw by checks. I thought it's a great result for me, especially my time troubles, but I almost were killed by the pawn, so that's a problem. Black is taking with the rook on g6. I suddenly remember a game of Jan Nepomniachtchi and Dinurgen, but it was more lucky for me. I'm attacking the checkmate here, and actually black has a lot of troubles. Taking rook with a check, rook is blocking, one more check, king suddenly goes to g8, and rook e8, checkmate is coming next move. That was the last game in the tournament. I'm playing black on the second desk. You can see that white is choosing quite unusual opening, like knight f3 and bishop goes to b2. I'm playing some unusual way too. It's quite flexible. I prefer to do also double fianchetto, and white is trying to break the center. I was happy to take it because now I'm controlling d4 with my pawn, which is staying on c5. Of course, white is saving the king. I have nice and flexible game. I have a lot of plans, and actually I thought that white must push somehow d4. So I protected the idea, going knight c6, rating go to b4 and d4. I think it's about equal position, and maybe slightly better for me. Maybe it's just my feeling. So knight goes to d4, it's a little fork. If knight takes my knight, I would be happy capture knight, bishop on g2. Queen is running, and I took knight on f3. Actually, I didn't think that white can take with the pawn. I've been calculating bishop f3, and obviously it's better for me. King is not covered with the bishop, and pawn which is stacked on d2, but pawn on f3 actually made also equal position for white. I'm trying to connect my rooks right now. Queen e7 was a bit risky, maybe, But actually I saw that it's quite okay because have no idea how white can use it. White finally playing d4, I'm taking it, it surprised me because knight goes to b5. I didn't want to give white move bishop to a3, that's why I'm going knight d7 with idea going knight to c5. And here we go. So white takes the pawn with the bishop. Actually I'm quite okay with exchanging bishops because don't know how white could try to use my big dark squares near the king. Knight is going to the perfect position c5, blockade to the c pawn. Yeah, white could put both of rooks on the d file, but I don't think it's a trouble because we just can simply exchange everything on the d file. That actually happens in the game, and white took the a7 pawn after exchange. It's actually, it was my idea because pawn on a7 it's not such important, but owning the d file and the central with the queen, I think it's most important thing. White is making a mistake, they protecting, I think, c pawn and f pawn, but they missed queen a1. So check, white must block with the bishop, and actually pawn it's not my goal is pinned bishop. Next my game was totally built on this idea. Definitely white need to protect the bishop, but how to do it? e2 is protected, d3 is also protected or attacked from my side. I'm attacking white queen, they're offering the exchange. I'm making a mistake. I didn't notice idea of white that queen can go to d8 and actually it will be perpetual check. But white also didn't notice it. They see this idea, but only after queen is going to d1, but it's already late because after check I'm running up, white queen goes to the center, I simply can block with the pawn, goes to f6. d7 is blocked by my knight, there is no more checks, and the next move I will take a bishop with a lot of troubles for white. So white trying to make more space for the king, of course I'm taking the bishop, and after nice move bishop e4, look at the knight is making a lot of things. So white just give up because it will be forced mate in few moves. It was very good game, and I hope you enjoyed it.